The idea now that a U.S. attorney is spinning out a bunch of subpoenas, he's going on a fishing expedition, as we say. He's in the hunt. He's in the hunt. Meanwhile, nobody is charged for anything at the I.R.S. Nobody's charged with anything at the Justice Department over Fast and Furious. Nobody's charged with anything over Benghazi. Nothing. I can't think of a prominent Democrat in the last year who's been indicted on anything. Maybe I've missed one here or there. You've got sleazy deals left and right in this administration. Environmental groups filling up their treasury with grants from the EPA. Phony claims of discrimination decades ago. People filling their bank accounts thanks to the Agriculture Department. People who weren't even farming. And I could go on with Solyndra and the phony green jobs and all the rest of it. Trillions of dollars. You've got the former energy secretary under this president, who's now on the board of a group that received millions and millions of dollars from his energy department when he was the secretary. And nothing. Zero. And worst of all, we've got a president of the United States who is daily pronouncing himself a dictator. Daily. If Congress just debates, well, that's what Congress does. It debates. And it debates before it passes laws, if it chooses to pass laws. To say if they don't act, you will, is to say that you are committing a coup. And that is what he's doing, and that is what he has done. Here he is again, to a bunch of mayors who applaud him when he announces that he's going to defy the Constitution, that he's going to reject the framers, that he's going to undermine our system of government, because he knows best, Barack Obama. When he's not vacationing in Hawaii or Martha's Vineyard, when he's not having a massive party for his wife, when he's not golfing or playing basketball, he is dictating. Cut 7, go.
I want to work with Congress whenever and wherever I can, but the one thing I'm emphasizing to all my cabinet members is we're not going to wait. Where Congress is debating things and hasn't been able to pull the trigger on stuff, my administration is going to move forward, and we're going to do it in partnership with all.
Stop. Can you imagine any former president talking like this? If Congress is debating and doesn't pull the trigger and pass legislation that he wants, then he'll do it on his own. And he is directing his cabinet secretaries. He's directing his agency heads. Start making law. Make law. Now. Absolutely incredible. And, of course, he knew nothing about the I.R.S., and he knew nothing about Fast and Furious. He knows everything. He may not know the details. He may not know the specifics, but he's giving the broad orders. Go out there, break the law, punish my opponents, help my constituents, massively expand the power of the central federal government. That's what he's telling them. He's telling the whole world, and we hear him, don't we? So when there's an abuse of law, an abuse of power in this agency or that, I don't know anything about it. You've just told him to do it. Meanwhile, there's a U.S. attorney investigating Chris Christie over a damn bridge. And I'm not a Christie guy. They're issuing subpoenas. The federal government's investigating. Are you kidding me? A U.S. attorney running wild in Wisconsin trying to take down Scott Walker. Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, nothing in response to this administration. Zero. Now, nobody's safe. The federal government is ubiquitous. It's out of control. It's out of control. I've done my best to propose what I think we need to do. I just wish more and more people would take a look at it, and I think over time they will. But we don't have a lot of time. You know, I can remember just a few years ago, ladies and gentlemen, when the NSA was prohibited as a matter of federal law from any domestic activity. And the CIA was prevented from any domestic activity. That's what we have an FBI for. And now even conservatives and Republicans, well, the NSA, this power, that power. Are you kidding me? Look at this at the Blaze. The New York Times has a report. The Internal Revenue Service. And by the way, when the hell are we going to abolish that agency? A flat tax or a fair tax? I'll take either. And no, you don't need this monstrosity, the IRS, for either. That has to be put out of business because now this is the enforcement arm of an imperial president. That and the EPA. The Internal Revenue Service has for the past 2 years been investigating an association of roughly 1,500 conservative-minded individuals in Hollywood, causing a few to wonder whether politics has played a role in the investigation. This report is originally from the New York Times. Named for Abraham Lincoln, the first Republican president, Friends of Abe is a secretive and very private club for one of the rarest commodities in Hollywood, conservative entertainers. There's nothing secretive about it. They have a few meetings. They have a few speakers. People talk to them. They're not politically active. They're conservative for the most part, libertarian for the most part, some more moderate than others. But they don't reveal themselves all over the place. You want to know why, in my humble opinion? Because they're in Hollywood, and they want to work, and they want to have jobs. Because we know Hollywood, and that structure over there, is top-down fascist. We know that. The studios are controlled by leftists. Yeah, you know, like that jerk Weinstein, who went on a rant about the NRA the other day. Mental midgets like him. So these people need to work. Actors, directors, people who handle sound, people who handle the cameras, people who write the scripts. The fact that they have to meet in relative secrecy, not that they're secret, but that they have to meet in relative secrecy to mostly protect their identities is a disgrace. And yet they must. And so the IRS is after them. The IRS, which does nothing to this group Media Matters, which claims to be a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, founded by George Soros, which is nothing but a hit squad of conservative haters. Go ahead, go on their site and look at it. A political front group. They haven't had their ticket pulled, have they? I don't even think there's been a hearing on Media Matters. Has a single Republican committee even yanked those bastards up on the Hill and had a chat with them? No, nothing. So in Hollywood, you see, if you dare to set up an organization that isn't even all that well organized in terms of a top-down or bottom-up hierarchy, but they meet, they have a meal, they talk about things, they listen to speakers, that's unacceptable. The group was founded 9 years ago. But the IRS has been after them for 2 years. The group applied for a 501c3 tax-exempt status. And the application's been under review ever since. This is the slow walking of the process. Then they asked them for extraordinary information like, we'd like a list of your members. Now, they keep their membership list quiet because they don't want their members to be punished by the Hollywood industry, which is so open-minded, so progressive. Yes. Only if you're a mass-murdering communist do you get a break in Hollywood. I've spoken to this group. We don't conduct politics when I'm there anyway. And they don't. Friends of Abe. Not allowed to be. Now, if they had said they were the Friends of Castro or something like that, nobody'd give a damn. Oh, okay, you should have told us. So the IRS wanted enhanced access to their website, which is kept among the members apparently. They wanted access to the group's members list, and the request, according to tax experts, was unusual. Yes, it's unusual, because maybe they're not Obama supporters. How many of them were invited to Michelle Obama's 50th birthday? Probably none of them. None of them. You know, there was a time in this country, but it's long past, when liberals would speak out for civil liberties, when they would challenge a president, as I was talking with Senator Cruz during 1937 and a few years that followed, challenged a sitting popular president, FDR, who tried to pack the Supreme Court. His own vice president, former Speaker of the House, said no, publicly, said no, and rallied Congress against his own president. Not today. Not today. The law is a joke. The law is what Obama says it is. And it's not just Obama. The law is what Harry Reid says it is. These are dangerous times, politically and legally. Very, very dangerous times. This is why I get so damn furious at the Republican leadership and insist that they must be replaced. When you go into war, political or otherwise, and you have weak generals, you can't keep saying, get behind the generals, get behind the generals, get behind the generals, when the generals won't do anything. Is that what Lincoln said during the Civil War? Now, obviously, we're talking politics here. Not war, but politics. You can't get behind men like Boehner and McConnell when they won't do anything.